Hey, it's Roy Newgate, and we're back with another One Piece chapter review. And I know I've been kind of stagnant with the uploads and the reviews and everything, but I got a few ideas lined up, so we're gonna try to get back into the groove of things. But before we get into this particular review, if this is your first time here or you just enjoy One Piece discussions like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to stay posted on all of my uploads. And with that all aside, let's get right into the review. The chapter starts off with Apu pitching his proposal for an alliance with Drake, which is, it's kind of funny because, like, Apu's reputation in alliances is not a very good one. He's known as a backstabber and everything. Someone always taking advantage and, just looking out for himself and doesn't care who he steps on. No matter the implications and everything. But maybe you'd figure like in this particular instance, it might have been how Queen kind of like backstabbed him and, his games and everything. He put Apu's life at the line. So that might be part of the reason why Apu is just like he's completely separated himself from the Beast Pirates at this point. And it's kind of funny because, the numbers are right there and they're not even saying anything. So it's like, it makes you wonder, are they like, do they care? Are they sentient enough to like, tell what's going on and everything? Or have they always been like, either they don't care or they're just following Apu's command? So, I mean, I guess we'll see, next chapter, like, what's going on here with everything. Then you have Drake, who himself said that he's always hated Apu. He was echoing the same sentiments as Kid and everything. And so, and, it kind of makes you wonder, why is he even here having this discussion with Apu? I've seen some people even call Drake an alliance whore because, he's just, left and right, making alliances with everybody and everything. And I honestly can't see him not getting into this alliance with Apu. Maybe he has like, a plan where he's like playing Apu or something, but yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point they're gonna somehow team up. Maybe temporary or for however long they might like link up. And then we transition to the whole thing that's going on with Usopp and Nami, and as they're running around, they notice Kinemon's torso running around. And this told us straight up that Kinemon was still alive. And, as we transition to the next scene, we see Kinemon, pleading for help because Kiku is, on the brink of death herself. And there's really no one around to help. So Kinemon is, the only person that can, get her any sort of help right now. As far as the whole Kinemon thing goes, I was pretty disappointed to see that he was alive. Only because, he had a pretty good send off. They had the flashback and everything with Momo. And Oda really made it seem like this was it for Kinemon. And overall, it kind of really made it feel like this arc was like, the tension was there and everything was serious. But with Kinemon coming back, it's just like, it's come down a notch. Well, it's come down significantly, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully by the end of the arc, though, like there's actual real consequences and everything, something to make it feel like real, like there's a real threat there, a real danger and everything. Then we switch over to the whole scene with Kanjuro and Orochi. And with Kanjuro, we all assumed again that he was like completely finished now, that Kinemon had finished him off and that was the end. Especially because, he said everything about how Kinemon is the one that's meant to, close the curtain on his act. And ultimately, that still holds true because it's like he's on his dying breath right now, and he just has one more mission to complete for Orochi, with the fire demon that he kind of drew for him, which resembles the what was it, that smile in Punk Hazard that was like burning everything in its path. So I think that's a pretty purposeful callback. Because, I mean, like the whole thing with Kinemon running around with his torso and everything, that's also a callback to Punk Hazard. So I think those are some pretty interesting plot points. And who knows, we might see some other callbacks to the arc, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we'll see how things go. And with Roach and everything, he knew exactly what to say to Kanjuro because he knows how loyal he is to the Kurozumi clan. So, he kind of sweet talked him and everything into this one final wish of his that he wanted him to complete for him. So, now his whole goal is to like kill everybody on Onigashima because he knows about the weapons and everything and the gunpowder. So his plan is pretty much to kill everybody on Onigashima, and then him and Fukurokuju escape after that. So yeah, I guess it was already looking pretty bad with the fact that Momo was the one who had to stop the island from crashing into the flower capital. And Yamato had to take care of the ammunition, but now, somebody else has to step in maybe and help them because the whole Kanjuro's drawing is just going to wreak even more havoc and, put everybody else in even more danger. So that's also definitely something to think about. And, we have a lot of people just running around doing a whole bunch of nothing. So I would think like maybe, Marco or we haven't seen Denjiro in ages. So maybe he helps with, stopping the fire demon and everything. And maybe we get more lore from Hyogoro and Kawamatsu, because they don't seem to be occupied with too much. And then finally, we go to the scene with Law Kid and Big Mom, and Big Mom seems very much in control. She's just like throwing them around and everything, and she doesn't seem to be met with much resistance at the beginning. But then that's when we learn that Kid and Law are about to use their awakenings, and I guess this was a surprise to a lot of people because like they hadn't shown it on the rooftop and everything, and you would think that that would have been a lot of help and would have made the fights easier, but it makes a lot of sense when you realize that their awakenings it's not something they're used to, especially because of the stamina drain and everything. I think even Law said that it's only something he would use in a life or death situation as a sort of last resort, and Kid echoed the same sentiments. Now, although I do think the execution could have been a little better, there could have been a little better setup, with these awakenings, but I don't think they're as posed as some people would want to call them. I think, in Kid's case, we haven't seen his journey, so all the time he spent fighting in the new world, it obviously, led up to him, getting stronger and, honing his abilities a little better like he is now. Or, well, he hasn't actually mastered it or anything, and neither is Law, but they'll get there eventually, I guess the only thing that you can bring major question to is why Law didn't use it in Dressrosa, but at that point, I guess you'd have to just assume that he put it together along the way after Dressrosa. Maybe he saw the what he lacked offensively and thought that, okay, I can't remain this way, I can't stay the same, I have to grow stronger, otherwise what's the point of his life as a pirate captain or one of the top supernova. It will be pointless if he just stayed stagnant. So yeah, obviously Luffy isn't the only one who can grow. Everybody else can grow as well and move forward and stay relevant to the plot. And for Kid and Law in particular, they were also called future leaders of this generation. So they're just going to keep getting stronger and better with their abilities. And like I said in another video, they're more than likely going to make a lot of noise in the final war. Even Killer, we've seen what he's capable of in recent chapters and the rooftop and everything. So, I fully expect to see them all in the final war, just, getting even better feats and just doing a whole lot of things that a lot of people might not have expected. So back to the scene in this fight, it's Big Mom going straight for Kid, and Kid serves as a sort of distraction so then the Law could set up his awakening and everything. And what seems to be going on here is Law is taking his room and condensing it and applying it straight on his sword. And it kind of like acts like Gamma Knife, but like an amplified version, because obviously regular Gamma Knife isn't going to do much to Big Mom. We saw how little it did to Kaido, and Big Mom is pretty much on his tier of durability and everything. So this awakened technique of his proved to be very effective as it threw Big Mom off and ultimately set up Kid to use his awakening on her, as he turned Big Mom herself into a magnet. And as this happened, everything around them, the steel beams and everything, everybody's weapons, they all just came crashing straight into Big Mom at full force. Though I definitely do not think that she's done, straight after these two attacks. She's definitely going to come back, swinging harder, angry after what they did to her and everything. What I'm not so sure about is if Kid and Law can keep going, because like they said before, their awakenings are very detrimental to their stamina, and it's not something they can sustain for a long time at all. But we'll see how they fare in the next chapter, or if they're still fighting. Or another thing that I'm curious about is if Big Mom has a lot of abilities she obviously hasn't shown. Some people I've heard say that she might use awakening, and that's very plausible because as versatile as her devil fruit is, there might be more to it that we haven't seen, because everything we've seen so far has been like pretty much things we've seen on the surface, and we haven't even seen her use Conqueror's techniques against Kid and Law. And she seems to be a very proficient Conqueror's Haki user, so that definitely has to be in store as well for the remainder of this fight. But with that, we've reached the end of this review. But as always, tell me what you think, regarding Laws and Kid's awakenings and everything, and how you felt about the whole Kanjuro and Kinemon thing. But most importantly, tell me what you expect for 1031, and if we go back to this fight, what you expect to happen, and any other predictions or expectations you might have in mind. Comment all your thoughts down below, but also don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well.